So, 2 years ago, I made a night rant about Fiznom and how much I hated him. I don't hate Fiznom anymore. And there are multiple reasons as to why. A, he likes Deltarune. I like Deltarune. And he doesn't seem to have this much disdain for Five Nights at Freddy's as he used to. Case in point, he loves Secret of the Mimic. Big fan of that game. Made an hour-long video about how good it is. So, with that being said, I'd like one last time to share my chair metaphor. But this time it has a happy ending. So imagine you've been going to this carpenter for years and years and years, and every time you went and you asked for a chair, and every time you went and asked for a chair, you asked for something a little bit better on the chair. And this carpenter kept on delivering chair after chair after chair with new stuff in it. Well, this carpenter, after making his most recent chair and giving it to you, retires from carpentry, and he gives his carpentry business off to a protege of his, not his son, but a protege that has been training under his wing for the entire time that you've been his customer. So, you see that there's a new person at the carpentry business because the old carpenter has retired, and you ask them for a chair, and they give you the chair, and it is very nice. It is a very nice chair. It is one of the best chairs that you've had from this specific carpentry business, right? It's a good chair, great chair. So, a couple years go by, and you need another chair. Every year or two, you need a new chair, and you start asking for a new chair about, 10 months after you just got the chair before, the previous chair, right? So you go to this carpenter, and you say, I would like another chair. And this carpenter, this new carpenter, this protege of the old carpenter that you loved so much, is like, oh my gosh, I'm way ahead of you. I am making the best chair that I could possibly even try to make. So, you are surprised by this, and you are very excited for this chair. And well, the day comes around, and he says he can't give it to you today. So you wait months for this chair to be done. And he says it still cannot be finished by the time. And you wait even more. And by this time, multiple people have weighed in on what the chair is going to be. And every time they thought what the chair was, they said what they thought the chair was going to be like, it seems like right then and there, the carpenter said, wait, I can't do this yet. I have to make some tweaks. So months and months and months go by. And finally, on December 16th, which, by the way, on December 16th, the next year after you already ordered this chair, it is finally ready. It was supposed to be ready the year before, but a whole entire year later, it is finally ready for you to sit in. And it is a gorgeous chair. It has got all of the things that a chair could even possibly have. Every single commodity that you think a chair should have and could have, it's got. It's got cup holders. It's got a portable tray to put your food on and put your remote on. It's got everything. It can recline. It does everything. But you go to sit in this amazing chair, but it turns out that on the outside is the only part of this chair that was pretty. You sit down and it breaks on impact. And it breaks into a million pieces. So, you go back to this carpenter. It has never, this carpentry business that you have been going to for, at this point, the last 7 years-ish, has never made a chair that was this bad. It broke on impact. You go to this protege of this carpenter after they made you that pretty good chair like 2 years ago. You go to this protege of the carpenter that you went to for years. You thought they could make a good chair because they made that other chair 2 years ago. You go to them and you're like, hey, dude, this chair that took basically 2 years for you to finally give me is faulty. It is a bad chair. It broke on impact into a million pieces. So please fix it. And the carpenter notices this. And he is like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I will fix up this chair for you to the best of my ability. And it will come at no cost to you. So, it takes a really long time, and actually, now that you think about it, this chair is still being worked on to be a fully functional and highly respected chair. But this carpenter has indeed tried his best to have this chair be fixed. So, as he is fixing this chair, and as you're trying out the new fixings of the chair, and it's getting less and less wobbly, but it's still breaking a little, but it's getting less and less easy to break. But as you're trying this, he's like, hey, look, this chair is gonna take many years to really fix up and make the chair that we really want to make it as. I already deleted so much from this chair that was originally going to be on it in the first place, so this chair came out unfinished and broken. You remember that. So, as we're trying to fix this chair, I will give you another chair at no cost to you. It's gonna be kind of like the other chair, but it's gonna be a little smaller, and it's gonna come at no cost to you. You don't even have to pay me a dime. This chair is on the house. It is free. And you're like, oh, a chair. Thank you. So this chair doesn't have the cup holders or the fold-out tray. It reclines, but it's not like, a recliner that you can control with a remote on the side. You pull a lever and it reclines. So it's a less flashy chair, right? Way less flashy of a chair. But you are mad because this chair is kind of still a little bit iffy. A, and B, it's a boring chair. So you go and you're like, I don't like this chair. And he's like, but it was free. I didn't make you pay a cent. This was a gift from me to you as a compensation for not having a good chair. I gave you this for free. And you're like, no, it's boring. And this carpentry business that you've been going to, Freddy's carpentry business, you've been going to it for years, and you decide that you're not gonna even go to the carpentry business anymore. You're gonna find new carpentry business, like Poppy's carpentry business, or Bam Bam's carpentry business. Like, you are done with Freddy's carpentry business. You leave. But you are still connected with this carpentry business because while you were under the wing, while you were still buying some chairs from the carpentry business, you were actually hired by the old master of the carpentry business, who never did you wrong, to make a chair for him and the community of carpentry lovers that got the chairs from this carpentry business. And you were getting ready to release your chair. Not soon, but it was coming along just fine. But the main person in charge of this carpentry business, as you have just learned, is clearly incompetent. So you put a sledgehammer to your chair that you were making for that carpentry business, and it breaks, and you don't care, and you leave. You leave the carpentry business. You don't work there anymore. You don't even associate with the carpenters anymore. But, and here is where it turns, because I have never told this part of the story. This carpentry business keeps making chairs for other people. And every now and again, as you're looking for good chairs from other carpentry businesses, you're still looking over at people buying the chairs, the new chair that just came out with a lot of new stuff. And it was kind of like the first chair that the new guy made for you. It was actually a lot better than the first chair that the new guy made for you. So you decide, hey, I'm gonna buy this chair too, because this is a very big carpentry business. This chair is released to the masses, as is every chair that you've asked for. But you seem to have always asked for it first, because you always come in with criticisms, small criticisms, except for the second most recent chair. You had a lot of criticism for that one, but you always had criticism for how the chairs were made. Well, you decide to buy this chair, and he said in it, and it is amazing. It is amazing, just like the first chair that the new guy ever made for you. It's just as good, if not better, than that chair. And you consider, hey, maybe I should go back and maybe make amends with this carpentry business that I left astray. And then your ego gets the best of you, and you're like, no, I can't do that. I already burned that bridge. Maybe if, no, I don't know, that carpentry business releases a chair that is kind of like the chair that they failed to make, but it's actually good, I might think about getting that chair. That's what you think to yourself. That's what you believe. Well, about a year passes, and they have announced that they are releasing a new chair very soon, about next week. And you see the discourse among the fans of this carpentry business on how it's not like the chairs used to be, and they're getting too big for, a normal chair. It's not what a normal chair size should be, and it's not how the chair should look. And the person who originally made the chairs is long gone. He has no word in how the chairs are made, but they all think that this new chair is not going to be good. But the chair is released to the public. You decide to play or sit in this chair. You sit in the chair. And it is one of the best chairs you've ever sat in your life. This is a 10 out of 10 chair. Sure, it's got some, a little bit of weird things going on, but all in all, this chair is absolutely spectacular. It makes up for that one chair that broke into a million pieces, and then you got a smaller chair that was boring, and they're still working on fixing it. It makes up for all of that. And you go back and you're like, carpentry business, I think I'm ready to reconcile. And that finally means that there is a good ending to the chair metaphor. Thank you.